Now we have an absolute cracker Saturday night. Teofimo Lopez defending his world title against Shakur Stevenson. Again, Shakur, if he comes through, 4-weight world champion, going on to more greater things than he currently is at the moment. Then you got Teofimo, again the former undisputed champion, who's moved up, won a WBO belt and defending that belt against none other than Shakur Stevenson. Again, two young hungry lions, but this could be the biggest difference in the fight, where with Shakur, you'll see here against Cepeda, he's good at managing his distance, he lands them shots, he moves out of range. Good shots to the body, good shots to the head, you know how he does, he mixes up, but he slowly creeps forward and he'll pressurize you and get you countering and he'll make you miss. And when you miss some counters, he makes you pay, as he did with Cepeda. Although he got caught with a few shots, you see him stand still like, you know, bring it on. But again, when you stand still like that, you get hit with silly shots which are scoring points at the end of the day. Where against someone like Teofimo, you can't do that because Teofimo hits like a truck. But again, Cepeda hasn't got the technical ability of Teofimo Lopez. Where you see with Shakur here, he's comfortable throwing on the back foot. Very, very comfortable. He'll land his shots, land a little scuffing shot, pivot out, dictate the pace. You got to do that against someone like Teofimo. And especially here, when he uses that southpaw front foot to creep forward on the outside of Padley, and he land that shot, countering with that left hand, and he pivots out, and then lands with a right shot on the inside. You know, that front foot when you're a southpaw, that front right leg, that is the key, especially against someone like Teofimo. You've got to use that to creep to the outside, and when you creep to the outside, land them shots or even pivot and create another angle to find an opening to trick Teofimo a little bit, where Shakur is capable of that, especially when he's able to pick his shots and he mixes head body. He's not predictable, he's not one-dimensional, and most importantly, he can break you to the body, a bit like what happened to Mr. Padley here. But again, holding his hand and then just landing on the inside. He did that against Jamel Herring perfectly. Very, very perfectly. Simple stuff like this, blocking the jab to the body, then carrying up, found the opening, and this is what eventually got him the finish against Jamel Herring. And little counter shots like here, making Yoshino miss, making him pay. He needs to do this against Teofimo, because Teofimo, he is someone that I believe can match him in the technical department, whether it's on the back foot offensively or on the back foot defensively. You know, he can throw off the back foot, he can make you miss on the back foot, he can throw from the front foot, he can make you miss from the front foot. But his last fight against Barboza, it wasn't really the greatest. I mean, you see he used that George Foreman guard very well, landing the shots, but he would get counter punched, and he's so susceptible to that lead hook every time, whether you're southpaw or orthodox. But again, as I referred to on the back foot, making Barboza miss, yes, you know, he'll turn, make him pay, feint with a left hook, and he'll land a left jab. Simple as that. So again, he needs to watch out for these little tricks, because again, at the end of the day, they're all scoring points. And I believe this fight most likely will go the distance, so scoring points by any means necessary is the key. But again, as Barboza showed, he'll land a good shot, but Teofimo will land two. Teofimo will happily take one shot to land two, but against someone like Shakur, who sometimes can TKO people, you know, that's not what you want to do. Where Jermaine Lopez, he'll just turn you over like that, which is something which Shakur is a master at. You don't want to get turned over like someone like Shakur, because otherwise it's pretty much going to be lights out for you. And if someone like Jermaine Lopez, who's a world level seasoned fighter, not really at the elite level like Shakur, and he's doing that to you, Shakur will do that and toy with you and play the rope-a-dope if he needs to. So that's the last thing you need to do against Shakur. Use your strength, utilize your size as well, because again, size is key, especially against someone like Shakur, massively, because I think Teofimo naturally is a bigger man, so if you need to clinch, go tidy and then make it a bit dirty. But against Josh Taylor, this is the blueprint in my eyes. This is the fight which I believe shows how to beat Shakur, which is timing, precision. That is how you beat someone like Shakur. Landing them shots first, and when you do, utilize them, pressurize him. But people sleep on him because of his antics. People sleep on him because of the stuff he does in the ring and out the ring, which is not to his best of his ability, where obviously he's just mouthing off, or for example, he's taunting in the ring and he's just swinging for the hill instead of sticking to the game plan like Kambosos. You know, he's not this elite fighter. Teofimo is an elite level fighter, and his timing is probably the best in the game. As you see with Josh Taylor, he lands them shots, but he's patient, he's composed, he doesn't run out like a madman, well, when he wants to. And you'll see this shot against here with Taylor, blocks that right hand with that foreman guard, right hand around the top. But defensive flaw, that right hook on the chin, against the southpaw like Shakur, you can't get away with it. Against Jermaine Ortiz he did, but then against Sandor Martin he didn't with a 10-8. So he needs to work on that defensively. But the keys for him to get through this fight and become victorious. Wear Shakur down with size. Again, he's naturally the bigger person in my eyes, so clinch, push him back, and then create them openings. Because when you throw when he's flat and his feet are planted, he's just going to rely on head movement. He's not going to rely on pivoting or utilising his footwork and circling around the ring. That's your best chance to land and fire and land them shots that takes him out the ring. And most importantly, straight shots up and down, because Shakur, he loves that lead hook. So if you roll under, go head body, then you'll slowly break him down getting out of there. Where with Shakur, be one-dimensional. Make it boring, but make it tidy. Make it a stinky 12-round absolute stinker. Just make it boring, land your shots, and don't get hit. And lead hook and pivot's the key, because of course we know Teofimo is susceptible to them lead right hooks, especially from a southpaw stance. And 3-4 combos maximum. Again, just stay in first, second gear. Don't open up, because when you open up, Teofimo's counter punching, his timing, that will get him through. As I think this could be a similar fight to Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia, if that does happen and he decides to be more open than he should be. But overall, this is a solid fight. I think this is a 50-50. I genuinely think it's a 50-50. But if I'm completely honest, Shakur's boxing ability, technically, offensively, defensively, ring generalship is great. Teofimo, offensively he's great. Defensively he's great as well. But defensively he has them flaws. But ring generalship and mixing it up in the middle and the back foot, he's a bit more complete in that aspect. So I do believe it comes down to who dictates the pace, whoever dictates the tempo, I should say. I believe that will be the key factor in this fight. But I do believe Teofimo will be the one to dictate the pace, because Shakur in his last few fights, he's a slow starter. Against Artem, he lost the first few rounds. Against Edwin De Los Santos, he lost the first few rounds. But Teofimo, I believe he'll win the first few rounds, dictate the pace, but not let Shakur back into it later in the fight. And I do believe he'll win. And I do believe that early opening from Teofimo will give him the win. I don't think he can stop Shakur unless he breaks him down, because again, he hasn't carried that power from 135 to 140. But the one thing I say about him is you can't count Shakur out, you can't count Teofimo out. I do believe it's a proper 50-50, but I just think based off, I'm saying that this is based off a value bet, because when it's 50-50, always back the underdog. But when I match them together stylistically, they're both each other's kryptonites, but I don't believe Shakur's been in the ring with anyone like Teofimo, and I don't believe Shakur's the best person that's been in the ring with Teofimo, and I think that will be a big factor as well. So I do believe he'll win the first few rounds, and that will dictate the pace throughout the fight, and I do believe he will come out victorious, but it won't be one-sided. I do think it'll be very competitive, very tight, but Teofimo will get the win. But that is all for today. Hope you enjoyed. Please like, subscribe, and as always, this ain't financial advice. This can be what be betting and one can be backing based off my research. Have a great day, boys.